IITs. I would, everybody thinks that the change that you would make is to make them more research-oriented. I think they're already getting there. What I would do is I would make sure that we added a liberal arts component, in fact, to every IIT education.
Prabir Ghosh, IIT Kharagpur, 79. This is for both John and Nitin. In an increasingly globalized, interconnected world, does nation-state and conglomerate still exist? Does a nation-state still exist? The question I'm asking is, conglomerates will go to wherever the productivity is, wherever the market is, wherever the productivity is. GM is manufacturing more cars in China, and the majority of the parts are being manufactured in China. IBM today has more people in India than US. Can you answer that, please? The question is, the nation still exists?
Yeah, so I think I'm allowed to tell this anecdote publicly because I think you put it in the book. Through our wives, I developed a friendship beginning about 15 or 20 years ago with the then Chancellor of the Exchequer of the UK, later Prime Minister Gordon Brown, and at a time when his political popularity was at its nadir, he and I were having breakfast, and I talked about this new model for NYU, and I used the words, you know, ideas have always operated beyond sovereignty. And he said, I love that, and he wrote it down on a pad. He said, I'm going to use that. I said, now, Mr. Prime Minister, this is why your polls are in the tank. I said, John, the president of the university, it's okay to say beyond sovereignty. Gordon, head of state, not such a good idea. And you know, the fact is that we are, as the tide will come in at Fire Island this afternoon, so we are operating more and more beyond sovereignty. Universities are very comfortable in that space. But the reality of fact is that sovereignty, as we've seen in all kinds of contexts around the world, even in the responses to, you know, democratic awakenings, sovereignty is still a tremendously potent force, and it's important in business, and it's important in the law. And, you know, I don't think this will be the century where sovereignty disappears. I think it's a century where we have to begin to realize how artificial sovereignty is. And when I was in Iceland on the way up to the North Pole, and my daughter and I stepped from the American plate to the European plate, the only reason we knew that we had made that tectonic step was because the guide told us. If we had gone a mile down the road and he had told us that was it, we would have, you know, I mean, these are artificial boundaries we all know at some philosophical level, but they're real boundaries that have very important effects, and who's elected in country X or Y or Z in the next elections is going to make a difference for a really long time. So we have to prepare our students at both levels, would be my answer.
So you did not say an Indian restaurant when you changed the...
Well, I think we have got just enough time for maybe one or two questions. Two questions. So.